Hello everyone and welcome to another lecture of PHP MySQL. Let's continue, and in this lecture I'm going to show you how to output values from the database. So we've learned how to insert any values through this form, okay? First name, last name, email, gender. And now I'm going to show you how to see and make a list or output a list of all the values that you have on your database, so we can see, or the user can see it on a web page. So these are the basic functions, or the basic main functions for a CRUD system. A CRUD system is very common with for PHP projects, which is CRUD, C-R-U-D, which stands for create, read, update, and delete values from a database. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do all this. We already did the first one, which is insert values into the database. So create values into the database. I'm going to show you how to read, and later on how to update and delete. So let's take this out of here. Okay. Well, to start, we need to create a new file with a new script. And let's create PHP. Let's save this as, on your htdocs, let me save this as output. .php. Now the first thing that we need to do here is to call the connection. So we'll include connection.php. So first let's create a variable. Let's call this variable R, which will hold MySQL I, a query, okay, which is the select, okay, and this is a new one, select, and now asterisk symbol, which means all symbols. So we use the asterisk whenever you want to grab all the values from the database or from the column. So we want to grab first name, last name, so every one of them. Select all from, in capital letters, and now the name of the table, remember it was users, okay? So we are done with that. So here the R variable holds the query to the database, to the MySQL database, to grab all the values. Now what we want to do is show them, and to show the values on a web page we need to use the while loop. Okay, so I hope you guys remember how the while loop worked. If you don't remember, you can go back where I explain how to use the while loop. And now inside the parentheses we type a new variable and declare it, so row equals to MySQL I, and this is also a new one, fetch array, parentheses again, and inside the parentheses we need a parameter, which is going to be the query. Okay, so basically the variable row holds a function which is called the MySQL I fetch array, which will return a row of the table in an array format. So we will use the while loop to return each row at a time, and to do that we also need to open curly brackets, and inside the while loop we need to, each time we return something, we want to echo out the values of the array that we are creating with this function here. Okay, so echo, and now pay attention because we now need to use the row, and since we are using an array, or we want to extract values from an array that we are creating, we need to use the square brackets. Okay, remember the array had 0 or 1 or 2 or 3 to output the values inside an array. So we now have to type the name of the field that you want to get. Okay, remember we had the field first name, last name, email, and password. So here's where you're going to type it. Okay, so I want to get first, or I want to show first name. Okay, and I also want to show, let's say, let's give it a slash here and concatenate again. And let's say I also want last name. So row and last name. And you can put something else. I think we had the password. Let's say I want to check the password as well. I want to see the password. So we type row and do the same thing. The only change is here we type password. Okay, and you can go on and do row and then square brackets and put the field, okay, that you want to check from the database. But make sure that you always use the same name here as we have in the field of the MySQL database. Let's save this and let's see if this works. I'm going to create a link here. Let's say down here that says check all data from database, or check all records. And now I want to make this a link. Basically, it will call this script and will show you everything you want to see on the database. And let's type here A. And obviously here we just need to put output.php and save this. Okay, I think we are done. Okay, let's run the user form and then we will click here, this link, and we will go to the output, and hopefully it will show us all the records from the MySQL database. I mean, not all the records, it will show us the first name, last name, and password for each user. User form, PHP, okay, and here it is. Check all current records from database. Click there. Okay, so we have a warning, MySQL query expects 2 parameters. Okay, I forgot to type here. Okay, here we need to put the DBC, which is the connection, and comma. Okay, remember that we need to put this connection inside the query. It's the first parameter, and the second parameter is the select all from users. So save this. Let's try to run it again. Okay, let's go back, click here, and there it is. Awesome. So Victor 1, Bastos 1. Okay, it's a little bit, it's not very presentable, so let me put here. I'm going to show you how to solve this. Here we type another echo, and we will type, you can put here the line break, so we can separate the records for each user. Okay, so let's go back, and if we click check all records, there it is. Okay, Victor 1, Joe, Smith, and Smith. Okay, so you can, obviously with a little HTML, you can create a table so the records can look more presentable to the user. Okay, but this is how we basically can extract all the record or any record from the database and show it to the user. Okay, now for security reasons, you should always use the MySQL close function. Okay, which basically after running a script, it will close the connection. And for security reasons, this is very important that you use whenever you create a script or a connection to the database. So let's type MySQL I close, and here we type dbc. Okay, save this, and let's try it once again. Okay, here it is. So instead of running the script and leaving the connection open, we will close always the connection after running these records or the script itself. Okay, make sure you always use that. In the next lecture, we will learn how to return records by specific order. Okay, see you in the next lecture. Bye.